Dude, that's just lit up.
Holy, there's a bear right outside the van.
Water! Water! What is it?
Venturing into the woods alone at night can be terrifying. We're beyond excited to announce our 300,000 subscriber giveaway. This time, we're going even bigger. 3 lucky winners will get a limited edition 300,000 shirt, completely free. Want to enter? It's super simple. Subscribe to the channel. Like every video, comment on every video, that's it. And the best part? It's 100% free to join. As soon as we hit 300K, we'll announce the winners. So, may the best fans win. Now let's jump into the video. Venturing into the woods alone at night can be terrifying. But what happens when you encounter someone or something you'd rather never meet? Like this first encounter, shared by Dan's Van Life, a channel where Dan himself shares his journey living on the road with his loyal dog, Cassie. Most of the time, it's all about freedom, nature, and simple joys. But life isn't always as carefree as it seems. In this video he shared on August 3rd, 2023, Dan was traveling through Colorado, soaking in the stunning scenery. His day started off like any other, and as the evening approached, he headed deeper into the wild, hoping to find a quiet, secluded spot to park his van for the night.
So now I decide whether I'm just gonna camp at this parking lot right here or if I'm gonna drive further into the forest and look for a real campsite. It's tough because it's the weekend right now, so there's a very good chance that I won't find a campsite open. Here's the next camp spot. Oh, no one's here. All right, just scoped out our spot and it is looking like it's gonna be your spot. I think I'm just gonna land it right there. I could get all the way up in between those trees, but it's gonna be more unlevel. So we're thinking we're just gonna land it right at the entrance there, and nobody will think that they're gonna be pulling into the campsite either.
Pleased with the spot, Dan parks his van and begins to settle in for the night. After sharing a simple dinner with Cassie, he decides to take a short walk into the forest, just to get a better sense of the area he'd chosen to spend the night. But not long into the walk, something unexpected breaks the calm.
Decided we're gonna do a little after dinner walk, take a walk up this road, see if maybe there's a better viewpoint of the mountain behind me, and just check it out. Kind of cool right off the bat. It's like horse poop. There's either a moose or a horse right outside of the van right now. And he just made a scary noise. Or a bear. Holy shit. There's a bear right outside the van. Hey, bear. He's huge. He's huge. If I wouldn't have said something, he was gonna go in the van. If I wouldn't have hollered, hey bear, he was about to walk his way right into the van. Stay. Cassie, sit, sit. What are the odds of that the second I walk away, what are the odds that the second I walk away from the van, a bear just comes strolling in? What are the odds, dude? I could have stepped out the door right into his face.
We can only respect how calmly and sensitively Dan handled the situation. Thankfully, he was just close enough to spot the bear before it got too close, and just lucky enough that it seemed more curious than aggressive. Even more fortunate, Cassie was just on her leash at that moment. Had she not been, this could have turned into a very different and much more dangerous story. Dan chose to spend the rest of the night safely inside his van, watching a movie and letting the tension slowly fade. The peaceful forest around him no longer felt quite so predictable. It was a powerful reminder. No matter how beautiful or remote the location, nature always has the final say. Would you have kept your cool like Dan did? Or packed up and left right away? Dan's experience was a reminder that even in peaceful places, nature can shift in an instant. And he's not the only one to learn that firsthand. Because for one family on a quiet mountain getaway, a night under the stars brought something just as unsettling. And that video comes from the YouTube channel Outdoor Family, run by Avat, Saeed, and their children. This Turkish family is known for sharing peaceful adventures in nature. Whether camping in the mountains or relaxing by quiet lakesides, their content is always warm, lighthearted, and uplifting. But in this particular video, things took an unexpectedly tense turn. It's October 9th, 2024. The family is enjoying a quiet getaway in the mountains, far from the busyness of everyday life. The setting is perfect, and the day unfolds like many of their others, full of joy, laughter, and connection. But when night falls and everyone is finally asleep, Saidi suddenly wakes up. She hears something hitting their tent.
Avat. Aşkım. Duydun mu? Bir şey çadırı vurdu. Aşkım.
Bir bakayım.
Aşkım dikkat ol.
Bir bakayım.
Avat dikkatli ol. Avat.
Efendim?
Neredesin?
Buradayım canım, geliyorum.
Neydi?
Bilmiyorum. Bir şey görmedim.
Although Avat didn't see anything or anyone around the tent, Saeed was certain of what she'd heard. The sound had been real, and it left her feeling unsettled. Thankfully, Avat comforted her, and they tried to get some rest. But like always, they had set up their trail cameras around the campsite, and by morning, their curiosity had only grown stronger. What exactly had passed through their camp that night? And to their surprise, the cameras had caught it. It turned out to be wolves, captured clearly on their trail camera, quietly roaming around their camp during the night. While Avat and Saeed were no strangers to the wildlife in these mountains and had always respected the animals that called it home, this was by far the closest encounter they'd ever had. Thankfully, the wolves didn't try to breach the tent, but the footage made one thing clear. The animals had been just a few steps away while the family slept. It's a moment that left them both shaking and deeply grateful. Because even though no harm was done, they couldn't help but wonder, what if things had gone differently? It's a powerful reminder that even in the calmest corners of nature, the wild is never too far away. And sometimes it's closer than you think, just outside the canvas walls of your tent. Even when you're prepared and experienced, the wild can still surprise you. For Avit and Saidi, it came in the form of wolves, quietly circling their tent in the night. But for one man in Idaho, it wasn't what surrounded him. It was the leap he chose to take. And this shows just how quickly adventure can turn into a life-threatening moment. This takes us to the I.B. Perrine Bridge, towering 486 feet above the Snake River in southern Idaho, just north of Twin Falls. Known as a hotspot for base jumpers, the bridge attracts thrill-seekers from around the world. But as you might expect, jumping from heights like this comes with serious risks. On August 23, 2013, Aidan Sargent shared footage of a man who, while on an adventurous camping trip in the area, decided to leap from the bridge with a parachute. But what was meant to be an adrenaline-filled moment went terribly wrong. As you can see, one of the two who jumped off the bridge had a serious issue. His parachute didn't deploy properly, something you obviously hope never happens in a jump like this. You can see him veer off toward the riverbank as he falls, raising the terrifying risk of hitting the rocky edge instead of the water. Fortunately, he landed just in time, splashing into the river rather than crashing onto the rocks. He took a hard fall and was taken to the hospital by ambulance, but thankfully, his condition wasn't critical. This was a real near-death experience, and we can only imagine the fear of having no control, completely at the mercy of fate. Luckily, after being checked out, the man was able to continue his camping trip, grateful to be safe, but probably not in any rush to attempt a stunt like that again. That base jump was a powerful reminder of how quickly things can spiral out of control, and just how thin the line is between thrill and tragedy. And while that man walked away shaken but safe, he wasn't the only one to face a brush with real danger. Because for a group of unsuspecting ferry passengers in Germany, what started as a peaceful trip turned into a chaotic scene. Imagine this. You're enjoying a peaceful holiday, taking a ferry ride across the Elbe River in Hamburg, Germany. It seems like the perfect outing until everything changes. On February 17th, Storm Yelenia slammed into northern Germany with powerful winds and relentless rain, triggering floods and major disruptions to trains, flights, and roads. But not everyone realized just how dangerous the storm would get and were totally unaware of the chaos that was about to unfold. The injured were treated quickly, with just one needing a brief hospital visit, a close call, and a reminder that when nature shows its strength, even the safest journeys can take a sudden, violent turn. But danger doesn't just strike in the middle of storms. Sometimes it creeps in slowly, out in the wild, far from safety, and even further from help. And that's exactly what Jed faced in his next adventure. Jed is the man behind the YouTube channel Safety Third, where he shares his passion for traveling and exploration, from daring overnight abandoned building explorations to intense hikes through nature. And in this video, shared on December 31st, 2024, Jed embarks on an overnight hiking trip deep into the Daniel Boone National Forest in eastern Kentucky, with the goal of reaching some old, abandoned mines hidden far away in the wilderness, completely cut off from civilization. Jed sets off with a sense of excitement and full preparation for the long hike ahead, eager to uncover the mysteries of these forgotten mines. But little did he know, what started as an intriguing scouting adventure would quickly turn into one of the weirdest explorations he has ever experienced.
Okay, so this thing's gonna take us straight off into the valley here, like wilderness. This place is really cool, actually. Really strange terrain. Just heard something big over that way. It was big. Could have been a tree rolling down the hill, maybe just happened to collapse. I don't know. Having everything else though, so it's probably a tree. It was big though, made a lot of racket. Something's knocking wood up there. I don't know, that's weird. What is that, man? It's like, maybe it's a squirrel cracking a nut or something.
Jed takes in the beauty of the nature surrounding him, but the sudden, strange sounds that echo out of nowhere make him think. They stir an uncomfortable feeling deep within him, but he brushes it off, convincing himself it must be the sounds of nature. Determined to continue, he presses on, though now with a sense of consciousness and more cautious than before.
Not easy to climb, man. It slides a lot. We're seeing everything but mines that we can go in. Freaking minecart rail. Okay, we got one marker over here. I'm gonna diverge a little bit. Thought I heard something weird. I don't know. Okay, so definitely here. Look, very old man-made stone wall, bridge abutment. Looks like both sides of the creek there. God, that is old.
After hours of hiking through the dense forest in search of the old mines, Jed finally finds himself in the area he's been seeking. Besides the strange sounds that had caught his attention earlier, everything still seems normal. Jed remains completely focused. His excitement for the mines outweighs any lingering doubts.
It's a guide wire loop holder thing, stake, some kind of pipe. The gate thing, man, I don't really like that at all. I don't like that. Not even a little bit. How is this even in there? Is it bolted? Oh, it's welded and then they bolted into the rock. Right there, that's it.
Arriving at the first mine he discovers, Jed is disheartened to see that it's barred off, preventing entry. But with his determination intact, he presses forward, hopeful to find another mine that he can explore. Yet, things start to take a strange turn as he approaches the next abandoned mine.
Oh, look, there's another one with a gate. Let's shine a light in anyway. See what we're missing. It looks like we're missing a good one. Good grief, y'all. Yeah, we're missing a real good one. Look at that. I don't think these are like very old at all. That's a pretty high coal seam too. And it's dry. What the freak?
Suddenly, as Jed peers into another barred mine, a strange, short, almost human-like scream piercings the silence, echoing through the trees and sending a chill down his spine. Startled, Jed spins around, calling out several times, but no response comes. Unease begins to creep in as questions swirl in his mind. He's deep in the wilderness, far from civilization, and hasn't seen a single sign of life during his hike, aside from hearing those strange sounds earlier.
That was weird. We got bars on mines, we got people screaming, hooting and hollering. Just my luck, whatever.
Trying to shake off the unease, Jed continues his exploration. But no matter how hard he tries, the eerie sensation doesn't go away. The strange sounds, combined with the unsettling silence of the forest, leaves him feeling like he's being watched. Debating his plans, Jed ultimately decides not to stay the night in this forest. The combination of the sounds he heard along his hike, the barred mines and the unsettling scream, convinces him that it's better to prioritize his safety. Jed cautiously made his way back to his car, the unexplainable sounds still echoing in his mind. The hike felt longer with every step, but eventually, he reached his car safely, hearing no further signs of life. After sharing this encounter on his channel, viewers flooded the comments with theories about the strange sounds, some even sharing their own eerie experiences with similar unexplainable noises in these woods. This experience left Jed and his audience with far more questions than answers, adding yet another chapter to the mysteries hidden within the Daniel Boone National Forest. Sometimes the unknown is what lingers longest, and he's not the only one who's walked into the woods expecting peace, only to leave with a lingering sense of unease. Because in our last story, a man finds himself in a forest with a mysterious reputation of its own. And that video comes from the YouTube channel Grizzly Gaz, where Gaz shares his outdoor adventures, often accompanied by his loyal dog, Fendi. He's best known for his calm, light-hearted wild camping trips, filled with useful tips, honest gear reviews, and clever outdoor hacks. In this episode, shared on June 16, 2025, Gaz sets out for a wild camp in Judy Woods, a place shrouded in mystery, with local legends of UFO sightings and cryptid encounters. And this has made Gaz curious if these stories are rooted in truth, or if they are nothing more than folklore.
Stealth, mate. Mate, do you always have to muscle in on everything? Can't I just get my stuff in first? Let me sort this out. Van Gogh sleeping pad. Let's see if this is any good now it's not winter. I've got an alarm system. Our fender's just gone through. There we go, look. Number 1. Yeah. So if anything comes through that way, it should tell me. And if anything comes through that way, that one should tell me. So this should give me an early warning sign if anyone's coming into camp while I'm asleep in bed. Let's get us priorities right first, shall we? There we go, grain-free duck medallions. You love a duck medallion, don't you, mate?
With his camp set up and the evening sun filtering through the trees, Gaz settles in comfortably. The forest is alive with golden, calm light and birdsong. Everything feels peaceful. At this point, it's hard to imagine the night being anything but relaxing. Still, curiosity lingers. Stories don't just come from nowhere, and Gaz can't help but wonder what might unfold once darkness sets in. After dinner, surrounded by the quiet beauty of the woods, night slowly falls, and nothing unusual has happened so far, which causes Gaz to feel more and more skeptical. Maybe the legends are just stories. To satisfy his curiosity, he takes a walk through the forest. But even then, all remains quiet. Too quiet. And eventually, feeling unconvinced, Gaz decides to call it a night. But just as he settles in, things start to get strange.
I need to take my shoes off and that, and then if what happens during night I'll let you know. And if not, I'll see you in the morning. Dude, that's just lit up. Number 2. Fuck.
Of course, the sudden alert made Gaz tense up immediately. Since setting up the device, it hadn't triggered once, until now, in the middle of the night, just as he'd fallen asleep. He sat up, frozen, listening closely for any sounds. Footsteps, movement, anything. But there was nothing. Just silence. And too uneasy to unzip his tent and look outside, Gaz stayed where he was, waiting. Whatever it was that passed, it left no trace, except for the lingering feeling that he wasn't alone out there.
Must be nothing. Maybe a bat or something went past it. I can't hear anything. It's not that far away, it's probably only 10 metres away. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning now. Well, just after 2.
Although Gaz tried to brush it off, maybe a bat or something else harmless, something about it didn't sit right. That uneasy feeling lingered, and no matter how much he tried to relax, he couldn't shake the sense that something was out there. He lay in his tent for what felt like hours, listening intently for any sound, but the forest remained silent. And eventually, he drifted off to sleep. By morning, the woods were alive again with birdsong and warm light filtering through the trees, but the questions hadn't gone anywhere. What had set off the device? What had been near his tent while everything else was so still? To this day, Gaz has no idea what passed by that night. So what do you think it was? And how would you feel, knowing something came that close, but all you could hear was silence? Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, subscribe to my channel and click to see more on the video on screen.